What's up? What's going on? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Let's get down to the situation. Let's talk about Miss Porsha Williams. As you guys know, she's returning to the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and you know, her husband is going to be joining her, Mr. Simon Guobadia. And so right after she makes her announcement, you know, we get the news that it's hitting the streets, you know, with court documents, you know, basically saying that her husband, Simon Guobadia, is here illegally in the United States, and he falsified documents and used somebody else's identity to get permanent citizenship through a program called SAW. And basically, they're saying when Simon first entered the United States, you know, he got into some trouble. He kept overstaying his 6 months visiting visa. And also, allegedly, you know, he was arrested on bank fraud, credit card fraud, oh Lord, and things of that nature. And he was arrested, and also he was arrested again allegedly because he was in a possession of a vehicle that he was not authorized to be in possession of. This is allegedly, and the reasons why he was denied his citizenship, and also he was denied his naturalization, because they're saying that he has not been in the United States legally, lawfully for 5 years. And so since he can't prove that, he's not a citizen. And basically they're saying he obtained the permanent citizenship that he was granted back in the day was all fraud. So does that mean that they're going to deport him? So Porsha got to get out of retirement and come back to work, child, because she's on shaky ground if this is the case, because they might be trying to come and get him, because they're saying he's here illegally and he was already deported once and he entered the United States illegally with a fraudulent ID. This is crazy. Porsha, who did you marry? So y'all, let's get into this whole situation, and we're going to get into the dates and the years of how it transpired. So let's get to the reasons why Simon's application was denied for citizenship and also nationalization. It states, you know, the process of what Simon did to try to get his citizenship and things of that nature. So it states that Simon first entered the United States on August 11, 1982. He overstayed his visiting visa, however, and in 1985, the INS denied his application for adjustment of status. He was declared deportable and voluntarily deported from the United States on December 28, 1985. Then he re-entered the United States in June of 1986. Then again, he overstayed his 6 months visiting visa. In September of 1987, Simon was arrested for bank and credit card fraud and pleaded guilty to a felony offense. Wow. And then it states he was also arrested in January of 1989 for unauthorized use of a vehicle, and again in May 1990 for fraud. Thereafter, the agency began removal process. In January of 1991, Simon committed another felony offense, credit card fraud, and in April of 1991, an immigration judge held a hearing and ordered Simon to be deported on March 4th, 1992. Simon was deported and physically removed from the United States. Before his March 1992 removal, however, on October 24th, 1988, Simon used a different identity to seek temporary residence state under the Special Agricultural Workers SAW program. He also did not include his criminal history on his SAW application. When his SAW application was approved with these misrepresentation and omission, he was given a registration card and a temporary residence on June 25th, 1991. As part of the SAW immigration benefits, Simon's temporary resident status was automatically converted to permanent resident, stating to permanent resident status following the wait period. Simon received his permanent resident card on April 27, 1992, 26 days after he had been deported under his other undisclosed identity. So basically, they're saying that Simon was supposed to be deported, and he came back under another name and basically got his permanent residency card on April 27, 1992. Simon was not playing. And let's continue. On December 27, 2016, Simon applied for naturalization under his second identity and was denied because his temporary resident status was unlawfully granted on December 31st, 2020. The application for naturalization following an interview with Simon, the USCIS again denied Simon's naturalization application. USCIS explained that he was ineligible because he he has not been lawfully admitted for permanent residency. His temporary resident status achieved through the SAR program and benefits had been based on different identities. And on October 24th, 2022, Simon requested a hearing on the decision, and USCIS ratified the denial of his naturalization application on November 15, 2022. And on March 13, 2023, Simon filed the instant complaint in the court and asked the court to vacate the denial and remain with instructions to grant Simon's application. So in any event, Simon basically responds to the court and he files a complaint saying that they got it wrong. You know, there's some type of mistake and things of that nature. Simon's argument allegedly to the court was that, you know, when it comes to the agricultural program or workers program under SAR that granted him his permanent residency here in United States, they didn't have a problem with him for 3 decades. And so why do you guys have a problem with, you know, not giving me my United States citizenship and also my naturalization? You know, he's basically saying they are okay with it, you should be okay with it. And then it states that in his response that his lawyer is saying these things to the court, basically saying he should not burden the, you know, harm or the burden because the government didn't know that he had attained a fraudulent ID or identity. So they're basically saying it's their fault that they looked over it. It's their fault that they let him get away with it. Like, what is really going on? So in any event, any real, you know, immigration attorney or anything like that would never ever take Simon to court or even tell him to even file for his United States citizenship or his naturalization rights or anything, because if it's alleged that it's true, which is saying in the documents that he came and he entered back into the United States under a fraudulent identity, and that's why he was granted, you know, permanent residency here, you know, in that case, so everything is a lie. So therefore, why would you even go to court? Did Simon, you know, tell his lawyers this, you know, before they even filed the application? And maybe he filed the application because there's been so many ramblings online basically saying that Simon's here under a fraudulent identity. He entered the country multiple times and things of that nature. He was deported, and then, you know, these criminal charges that he has for like bank fraud and, you know, credit card fraud. There's a whole lot going on. He pleaded guilty to these crimes and things of that nature. So damn, Porsha, what you got, girl? I know it looks good over there. You got them big nice house, them cars and everything, but can it be all taken away since he don't supposed to be here? Who's it gonna go to? Maybe you, maybe to the government, who knows? But this is a whole crazy situation. So I don't know what Simon has to do to work this whole situation out.